I want to thank you all for joining the All in Tech, Future Tech series. Today we're covering the future of the metaverse, and we're going to be deep diving into building immersive technology products, into actually what it is, what are some of the industry use cases, how does that look like for business, and we're going to deep dive into how to take an idea in immersive technology to launch to market, and what does that look like. I'm Movasseli. I'm the founder of All in Tech. We're a community that's focused on empowering professionals in the workforce. And the way we do that is by developing these sort of community events that fosters learning and development, as well as a connected community. My background is I used to work for Accenture's Innovation Lab, their headquarters. I used to work for all the top global companies around the world on all the future tech, and digital strategies, including VR and AR, and how they were applying that to better serve their customers. I'm also a product person by trade. I've worked on many different products for startups in London. So very, very fascinating, very excited for this topic. Today, we're really grateful to be joined by Mohammed. He's given us his time. He's going to take us through all this. He's an expert in this series. I'm going to hand over the mic so that he can elaborate a little bit more on his background. Thank you, Mohammed, for joining us, by the way.
Hey everyone, hey Coral, thanks for having me. My name is Mohammed Nadirsha. I'm an aerospace engineer and
hello. Hello, Mohammed. I can't hear you, Mohammed.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear. The audience can hear.
Okay.
Is everyone able? You can hear Mohammed?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I can't hear Mohammed.
It must be an issue on your side, Coral.
Can you hear me? And you guys can hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, we actually did spend quite a bit of time on sound check. I don't know what's happened. We can hear him and you. Okay, so I just can't hear everybody else.
Okay, can you hear me?
Just give me 1 second. It seems like
no problem.
odd has happened. Give me 2 seconds, because I will need to hear Mohammed for this. Give me 2 seconds. Let me see what's going on. Seems like, oh, okay. Zoom has changed my settings. Okay, that's interesting. It just changed it mid presentation. Sorry about that. Okay, Mohammed, try that again. Yes, sorry. Go ahead, Mohammed.
Okay, thanks for having me, and hi everyone. Thanks for joining the masterclass. And my name is Mohammed Nadirsha. I'm an aerospace engineer and a mixed reality developer. So there are many things interesting to discuss and show to you. My focus is how to enhance the situational awareness for air traffic controllers using mixed reality. So this mixed reality and aerospace has been connected. I have been worked with NTU Singapore and SAP Sweden and all these companies. And yeah, we are about to show everything. What are the developments happening in mixed reality, aerospace, and all the industrial use cases. And thanks for having me again. Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mohammed. We're super excited. So, I mean, the first question I want to ask you, and I think everyone's thinking is, can you just take us through what immersive technology actually is?
Yeah, so immersive technology is a technology that helps us, a user, to transport from our comfort of our home to a new world. So basically, this has been divided into three different areas and under the umbrella of extended reality or XR. So first is virtual reality, which is a fully immersive world, like some games. We have used Oculus and these kind of technologies. And another is AR. So what is difference from VR and AR is basically VR is completely immersive, but in AR, we are having a digital overlay. So almost everyone has played Pokemon Go. So we have enjoyed it. Billions of people played it. So it's like a digital overlay over the real world. So real world is involved, and as the name suggests, it's augmenting the real world. And next is mixed reality, which is also my expertise. which I have applied for aerospace industry. So this one is, we are not using a smartphone or a tablet for mixed reality. We are having a goggles like HoloLens or Unreal, that kind of goggles. So what happens is this tracks our hands, and by hand tracking can directly interact with holograms. Like it will be a part of the real world. Like here in this GIF, we can see a human body digital twin. A digital twin is like the replica of a real world object. So this we can directly interact with our own hands using natural user interface. So we don't need any screens in between the holograms and our natural user interface. So these are the three basic technology when it comes to immersive technology.
And with mixed reality, is that, are we talking, you can't do that on mobile, right? It's on the HoloLens, for example. You have to actually wear the device.
Yeah, this augmented reality and mixed reality come closer. Only difference is in AR, we all have smartphones, right? So AR is much more popular than other two terms, because mixed reality, we need some kind of goggles, which is HoloLens, which is costing around 3,500 USD. So it is just not commercially available everywhere yet, but mostly industrial use cases. And also on the other side, we have virtual reality, also cost $1,500 Oculus Rift kind of Oculus devices. So more popular is AR right now, but hopefully in future the other devices cost come down and we all can experience mixed reality and virtual reality, everyone.
Okay. And what are some of the possibilities? What does the possibility look like when we're talking about, the future of extended reality?
Yeah, it's an exciting world we are going towards, and maybe some people have watched this movie Ready Player One, and they're going to this virtual reality world where they use all kinds of uses like education, medicine, and purchases, shopping, and all these kind of. So immersive technology actually enhances the experience much more than we see in a 2D screen.
And a full bodysuit experience, perhaps?
Yeah, so there are different kinds of immersive technologies. So with current technology, what we are experiencing is more visual immersive experience. But right now we are developing the technology for haptic feedback as well. So in this GIF, we can see the user is wearing a certain kind of suit that can experience the touch as well. So this will completely transport us in future to a new, entirely different world. Like for example, if you want to experience the what if we are walking through Mars or Moon, we can completely experience that. Or we want to go prehistoric era, like in how it feels like in Jurassic World, something like that. So this not only we can see and experience in 3D virtual world, but also we can feel how it goes through that wind, how it feels like touching the wind on our face and all that as well. So currently we are the kind of immersiveness we are experiencing with this mixed reality and virtual reality goggles is mostly visual. But currently the companies like Meta, they are developing these haptic feedback suits. So we can also feel that the touch as well. And interestingly, one device developing which can also feel taste as well, like using some kind of sensors that we can feel taste. So it's almost replicating all kinds of senses of a human body.
Wow, that is so cool. I mean, I read the book Ready Player One. I haven't watched the movie yet though. But I mean, the visuals are pretty incredible, and it's super cool to see where we're headed. And, when I think of the, immersive technology, I have to be honest with you, Mohammed, I think about Meta. I think about, Meta's metaverse and, which is Horizon World. Can you take us through that and dissect that for us a little bit?
So recently we have started to listen all the hype around Metaverse. That's mostly because one reason is because Facebook changed the name to Meta, and many people started hearing Meta everywhere. But the reality is Metaverse was here a long time ago. Like mainly Metaverse got all the hype because of Web3. Web3 is like a set of standards or new internet in a decentralized world. So currently the internet is mostly controlled by a number of companies like Google, Microsoft, and certain number of companies. So we have to give our email ID and some kind of information. But we are moving towards a certain age where decentralized internet is available. So everyone, the users will be controlling the internet. So in that area, Metaverse will be much more open. It will not be controlled by certain companies. But talking about Metaverse, Metaverse was already there. Like, for example, Second Life. I think many people from 90s, they already played, like in 2003, they launched Second Life. Many people, most of the people have been played that, and Fortnite was super famous, and we have been playing Minecraft. For these are all some kind of metaverse already existed in Web 2.0 or the current internet. But moving towards a Web3 or a decentralized internet, many new metaverses come up like Sandbox, Decentraland, and Horizon World is also moving towards a Web3 kind of metaverse. So it's transforming. The metaverse is not a new thing, but it's transforming to a new age of internet. So here we can see completely immersive virtual world on the left side, and also mixed reality metaverse. So these are different kinds of immersiveness, and metaverse is transforming to the new age of internet. That's what's happening. So it's not a new thing, but currently with the new internet, it's getting more accessibility for all the people.
That's really cool. And it's really cool to see that on the right side, that visual shows that people are actually doing that in the real world and playing that game. That's really cool. That we're not there yet though, right? Are we there yet?
Yeah, this is actually one of the greatest advantage of Metaverse is not just being in a virtual world, but people from different different countries, they can break the geographical barriers. So for example, we can enter as think about this, like I mentioned about this haptic suits, right? So it's almost like we are already there in some other part of the world, or in a completely new world that is not even exist in Earth. Maybe Mars, you can join with your friends and play games and everything. So that's the main advantage. Like we can break the geographical barriers and do all kinds of educational, medical, and shopping, and all these kind of fun activities, and also industrial applications that we will discuss soon.
And have you had your own, like, have you created your own metaverse?
Yeah, so I knew we are conducting this event, so I have been developing a metaverse on my own, and also so this one we can create different, we can change our avatar. So this basically, my first aim was to build this for education purposes, for students to interact with different jobs and all. But since if we are creating our own metaverse, we can do anything, right? So we own the world. So I would like to give a surprise that I have done a room for All in Tech here. So this is the login, and I have created a room for All in Tech. Our virtual metaverse exhibition is happening here right now. So this is the entrance, how it works. So we can go as an avatar. And I think the video quality is a little lower, but yeah, here's VIP dinner, and there's a stage, and I think it's very expensive in the real world to put it in a Bay Area event like this, but since the metaverse is our own, I have done that, so it's much more clear pictures. So our event is happening here. So it's like so the main aim of showing this is what are the applications and what are the potential possibilities we can do. Like in this metaverse, people can join, and we can pretty much do things that is not possible in real world. That will be much more exciting. Yeah.
What sort of thing? So I guess you can promote your event, or host an event, or have a shop, and people can come to your store. Some of that's already happening. I know a lot of like Nike, Adidas, you know, they have shops in different metaverses as well.
Yeah, and also there are many concerts are happening in Fortnite. Maybe you have watched this Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande events, concerts in Fortnite. And so the interesting thing is, if we have the control of the metaverse, we can do much more creative stuffs. Like we can be huge avatars, or we can fly over the world. We can interact with people in much more exciting ways. So yeah. The possibilities are endless.
That's really interesting. Now, what I want to cover is this. This was an application that you worked on. It was around how to learn a language. Can you tell us a little bit more about it? And I assume this is augmented reality?
Yeah, so this is an application I have sold to a company in Oman, an educational company. So I have used the psychology of students, how they learn. So rather than learning from a 2D books, students remember stuff when it is spatially connected, right? So this is like a augmented reality version of sticky notes. So this one actually allows the depth sensing. So this I created when Google AR Core introduced the depth sensing. So interesting thing is we can draw on any surface. So it's not just an overlay over the screen, but this is stick over the object. So we can pretty much draw right. So this is using for learning Arabic in Middle East, but pretty much any language can be learned like this by connecting it with the object. So students will have this psychologically, they learn much more faster and they learn more spatially connected. Yeah.
This is really cool because I mean, the manual way of doing this is to get Post-its around the house and just like, post it on different objects so that you can actually associate a new word with an object. So this allows you to do it without having Post-its covered in your house. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, actually we are discussing about how the process of a problem solving, right? How the AR develop. So this is not like most of the AR we see is like fancy stuffs, but basically augmented reality can, the basic core idea is enhance the experience, right? So with this overlay method, like for example, in air traffic control, which I'm about to say, this has this we can save time by not looking at the pad, so it will pop up just like in the Iron Man movie we see. So a lot of qualities we can take, a lot of concepts we can take and apply that helps our brain and ease our jobs. So that's a basic
really, really cool. And I want to talk about this. This is another augmented reality project that you worked on, Twin Reality. Take us through this a little bit.
Yeah, so this is an idea I have worked during my time with the EF London, in Singapore cohort. So I have developed this with my colleague Shilpa Karkera. And what our idea is basically was how we can, so basically in future there are a lot of holographic applications will be used by all the industries, right? So there is no proper organizing method or servers that to stream this, or they don't have a proper server for do all this. So our service was basically how we can ease this process. Like for example, startups to store all their holographic elements. So many companies are using like Bentley, NASA. All these companies are using some kind of holographic assets or extended reality assets for training purposes and to make so industrial use case applications in construction, in medical and all this. So in future, it will be almost like a data that we store in our computers. So but there is no proper form of storing all this and streaming all this. So this was one of our idea, how we can stream all that from just like a website and put it into the real world with one click of a button. So here, just like this, we click the asset and it is in pop-up into the real world by identifying the objects and the hurdles and everything.
That's really cool. That has a quite a wide range of applications, industry applications.
Yeah.
Next, I want to go through fashion. I mean, fashion has really launched into the metaverse, I think, more than any other industry. Tell us a little bit about, one of the applications that you worked on.
Yeah, this is also another fun project I have worked for my friend in Ecuador for a startup. So basic idea is like how we can apply augmented reality for fashion and clothing. So he's about to start, my friend Philip, he's about to start a clothing company and t-shirt printing and all that. So how we can apply the augmented reality for customizing new designs and everything. So this is like a Instagram integrated lenses I have developed for them. And what we can do is like when we move the different lenses, the designs will pop up on our real t-shirt. So this will detect our body or flaws or the t-shirts, and we can place it anywhere. If they like the design and it is matching with our colors of the t-shirt or clothes, they can pretty much print that t-shirt in that design, customized way instantly. So that's the idea. So this will actually make the users interact with how the design works. So
Wow.
AI is good potential in that. Yeah.
That's really cool because sometimes we print t-shirts, like design t-shirts for some of our in-person events. So
yeah,
this could be an application that we could use.
This is done as a Instagram lens. So it will be very easy for people to put it as a status, and they can accessible. They don't have to install a different application for this access this AR application, because it's integrated with Instagram and Facebook. So they can just open the Facebook camera and they can use this app.
That's really cool. Now, what I want to go into is how augmented reality is used by museums and what that could look like.
Yeah, so on the right part, which is me, the idea was in near Ecuador, there are Galapagos Islands. So I have been discussing with my friend Philip of how we can make a virtual museum that the animals, the people can interact with the animals and birds, Ecuador. And the left is not from my work, but it's from Magic Leap. And so this one I am developing for the right one I'm developing with different animals in Ecuador. So the basic idea is like people can interact with the animals. Like here, it can be a engineer or prehistoric, like even we can interact with the dinosaur. Or so it will be fun for kids, and they can learn more about the animals or extincted animals and birds and all that. So that's a basic idea. So this is also one fun project under development. Yeah.
That's really cool because you can even just use your mobile. You don't need a full headset for this.
Yeah. Exactly.
I know some of the museums in London have gotten into this. They have some of their own apps, and it's really, really cool to see. Now let's get into mixed reality. Let's cover the medical space. Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so medical space, which has, it's not my work, first of all, but the medical applications are pretty huge. So it's almost like one of the major important things surgeons always struggle is like to find the right nerve during the surgical operations, or get like it can go up to 24 hours or 36 hours, like continuously, but they always, they have to use a lot of brain power. So this mixed reality actually give access like a Superman X-ray vision. Especially they're using HoloLens here. So by using a digital twin, which is a replica of the patient's a digital replica of a patient with all the X-ray and the nervous system and everything. So they can instantly find, they don't have to use another hands to find the X-ray report, but in 3D they can see. So one interesting thing is one of the first augmented reality surgical operation has been done by Dr. Thomas Gregory in France. So this was actually done, and this is not the future anymore. This is already happening. The MRI imaging can happen instantly in real time, and this can very vastly helps surgeons to do more accurate way of operations, and they can also get remote collaborations from another doctors at the same time. So they don't have to use a video call or anything with other hands. They can see through the mixed reality device. So this is going to change the game, and also the training purposes, like the doctors have to learn by doing the exercises in real patient, right? So this mixed reality actually allows in that training and doing that kind of operations as well. So
That's really cool. Because if you add the application of robotics as well, which is happening in the surgery rooms, and augmented reality, I mean, the collaboration level for global doctors is pretty cool, even in places like war-torn countries, for example, where the skills or the talent might not be there and they can access those resources. This is really interesting. Let's go through another mixed reality construction. Tell us a little about this is an application that you worked on. Tell us a little bit about it. Has it been launched? Is it in development? And what's the use case of it?
So the construction industry with the beam integration and all that mixed reality has a huge possibilities. So one of the major advantages is design reviews. So most of the time, there are many companies lost millions of dollars after constructing. They realize it's not in the right alignment, or the lack of communication with the workers or something like that. So this actually mixed reality actually allows to build a digital twin, which is a digital replica of the real plan in 3 dimensions. So this changed the game a lot, and this helps a lot in numerous ways. So currently, everyone is seeing these 3D models in a 2D screen, which limits a lot of the dimensions. But what if we can put the design in the real world and see how huge it is, or what are the real lengths, and they can see where should be the wiring should come, and all this in real world, not in a computer screen. So this actually saves a lot of money and time and communication, and also for training. Like one of the similar project I have done, I think comes after the next slide. So which was also a part of my thesis project. I think it's coming after.
Yes, we're the air traffic control one.
Yeah, the first version of that. So it is version? Also, so it's also applicable.
Should we go into that? Let's go into. Sure. So we wanted to also give you guys a deep dive into, one of a big project that Mohammed worked on. It's a really global project. And he took it from idea to launch. And we wanted to also take you through how does that actually happen, and the product development cycle that he went through, and what's the update on that at the moment. How do you take something from idea to development to design and build, as you test it, deploy and evaluate, and finally as you learn and iterate. And that the project that Mohammed is talking about is this the one you want to show, the first one? This is the first prototype.
So this is one I have done for my master thesis basically. So this is Singapore Changi Airport. So the idea was like how we can use it for design reviews and planning. So I didn't have the budget for buying a mixed reality device. So so it's like saying necessity is a mother of invention. I used a Xbox Kinect to track my hands and projection mapping over a 3D printed model. And this aircraft is running on an A-star algorithm, which is an AI. So it finds the shortest model. So what happens is, like, the stakeholders don't have to know about the backend code. They can directly interact. So you can see the hand is moving, and they can catch the different aircraft and put it in a different place, and how it moves, how it finds the shortest distance. And all this can be studied in real time. So here, different technologies have been combined, like artificial intelligence, 3D printing, projection mapping, and depth sensing. So this is one of my first iteration of my current prototype built with the mixed reality. So I think this will be a good example for to discuss the product development cycle. So I think this will give value to the people who are listening. Develop a immersive technology product on your own as well.
So you came up with you worked on the idea initially. It was part of your research project for school, right? It was initially, and then you went and approached companies that you thought could benefit from that. So initially, How did you, without having worked in the industry, come up with the idea? So you had all the in-depth knowledge on, the technology, but how did you then match that?
Yeah, so one of my strong suit is in aerospace engineering. So other part, mixed reality, which I have self-learned. So I always used to say, people, I discuss like, the main thing is the technology is like a tool. So it's not like the where we can apply this is the most important thing. So this actually not planned to use a lot of technology at first place, but how we can solve a certain problem was the first question. So first we should be thinking what problem we are solving, like what problem we are solving and how we can solve it. So these kind of technologies like immersive technology, artificial intelligence, this comes like a tool, just like a pen we used to write stories, poems, draft, different things, right? So it's just like that. These are different tools which we can use to solve a particular problem. So I started with finding the problem. So stakeholders always struggle to find the backend code, and there is a lack of communication. So how we can solve that? So that was the problem I focused. And how we can do that? We can combine depth sensing and projection mapping along with the artificial intelligence. We can do the design reviews in real time. So that was the end product. Happened after ideation, what kind of features we are adding, and after certain trial and errors, we've come up. I mean, this was an individual project, so I came up with the final product like this. Yeah.
That's really cool. So the first thing you did as you came up with the idea, it wasn't so much about the solution, it was about the problem. Like really delving into the problem, scratching the surface, understanding that better. And then you were able to approach companies and say, hey, this is a known problem. Technology being the tool can help solve some of that. What were, was it easy to get those companies on board as you're doing, how was that cooperation like?
So this was part of my, this first iteration was part of my master thesis. So it was like 2 years back. So after that, I conducted with the help of my professor, NTU, Nanyang Technological University, and SAB, which was pretty supportive. So I proposed this idea of using a mixed reality device, and I really got interested. So what kind of possibilities we can access with applying mixed reality along with for air traffic control. So we can enhance the situational awareness of air traffic controllers. That was the problem we were focusing to solve.
Okay. And then as you got in touch with companies, had they already been looking into this, or was this a novel solution for them?
So when I proposed this project, Holland's not even available in Singapore. So when I proposed the project, they were pretty supportive. They imported these devices for my project from US. So I would say this was one of a novel project no one was doing around at the time. But now after the change of name of Meta and all, there are some projects are happening, but I think still in air traffic control, this is a novel project. So this project has been selected at the conference paper USA Europe Air Traffic Conference, conducted by FAA and Eurocontrol. I also have research papers under this project. And recently we have got selected at ISMAR, which is a prestigious event. Many companies like Meta and all that, they present their innovations. So I think you can move to the slide where the current version where it is happening. Yeah. So yeah, maybe I can go through the little bit about, yeah. So this is the current, this is the previous version, like current version is a little after that. Yeah. So in this recent iteration, I have combined mixed reality with 3D printing. So the right picture we got invited at Linköping University in Sweden recently. I've been there. I got invited along with my team here in NTU. So we were presenting there. got a good reception. And the idea is basically in the current iteration of this project. Could you please move to the previous slide, which has the features shown? Yeah, so this is actually got selected at the prestigious ISMAR. So this first picture I'm seeing from my HoloLens, and my colleague air traffic controller, Ms. Pailing, is connecting. So what's happening is this Changi airport, we are seeing the shared vision. So advantages are like this can be done by connecting between two different air traffic controllers. Like ground control can suggest, and the air traffic control can contact with the pilot and do this collaborative process. So we have done the study from the air traffic controllers from 4 countries, and the result was like without increasing the workload with this visual guides. You can see here green line, orange line, right? So this is happening when there is a route W4, W5. So one air traffic control is suggesting one route, and either the other one can accept it in contact to the pilot, and this will give a more accurate communication. And from the study we have done with air traffic controllers, we found that the time to decision was lesser, and the situational awareness has been increased for air traffic controllers by using this mixed reality device.
And
So
that's pretty big because, I mean, if I remember correctly, air traffic controllers have the highest suicide rates because they have the most stressful jobs. There is so much going at once in that air traffic control room.
yeah, the workload and the stress, because they're having a lot of I think they are not supposed to work for a couple of hours continuously, because they are having a lot of stress, because they are managing a lot of aircraft at the same time, right? So they have a lot of stress. So this overlay of data, which is the core idea behind mixed reality or augmented reality, helps a lot. So one of the initial version of this prototype we have built, one feature was when we look at the aircraft using eye tracking, it will pop up the gate sign. So this will actually reduce the time for them to compare the data from a paper. So this will reduce the workload for them. So all they need to do is just look at the aircraft, and it will pop up the gate sign and which path it is going. So this also we have built as an earlier version of this product. Then we have added the next version with the collaborative platform. So multiple air traffic controllers can connect each other, and they can do the operation. So the idea is this can save a lot of money in future by remote air traffic control towers. The physical towers might not be needed in every places, because they can transform any normal room into an air traffic control tower, and then can access different airports from one place by using this. And pretty much like screens, servers, everything can be done as a hologram, which saves a lot of money in future as well. So this remote tower concept is going to be a huge in future.
This is pretty massive. So just to get that right, you worked on the first iteration for your master's thesis as you were studying aerospace engineering. You then you collaborated with industry. You said, hey, this is a problem that I have a solution for. Industry got involved, and you got to delve more into the problem and the solution a little bit better by working directly with industry to create that first prototype, to create that first industry prototype by using features that was just for one air traffic control system. The next iteration, this last iteration that we're looking at the pictures of, is the collaborative element, using where air traffic controllers can collaborate with other air traffic control towers, so that and it reduces, and the ways that you're measuring the efficacy of these different iterations by looking at the time and the speed and the impact that it's having for air traffic controllers to do their jobs and to do it better.
Yeah, and also most importantly, since the air traffic control is one of the industry which takes safety very seriously, we take in each iteration, we take the feedback from air traffic controllers very seriously. That's why different iteration we are adding different features. So for example, in the recent iteration, we are adding a 3D printed model, because in the previous iteration, we got some feedbacks from air traffic controllers that it would be better if they have some kind of haptic feedback So because they are pressing the buttons in the air, right? So in a 3D printed model or on a table, when they click, they get some kind of haptic feedback. They are clicking. So it's almost like you can convert any table or a tabletop into a air traffic control on a bird's eye view, and you can operate all kinds of, like, for example, if you connect with the real airport management data, you can almost see where the aircraft is going, and you can control different operations, like even for training purposes and real-time operations. Yeah.
And this is ongoing. Like you
Yeah.
know, your first iteration was in the final version. You're constantly trying to solve this problem better and better by, you know, launching new iterations with new features, learning from it, measuring that, relaunching a whole new, you know, iteration, a whole new, you know, version of it. What's next? What's in the pipeline?
Yeah, so there are many exciting new features are coming. One of it is so this one I have presented in Sweden for Linköping University and LFV. That's an exclusive demonstration we have done there. We got the invitation. So this one, we are about to finish this project, how we can use the haptic feedback. So along with the collaboration. So collaboration in the sense, this mixed reality metaverse is only owned by companies like Microsoft, Meta. So this one I have to code from scratch, like connecting server on my own to do this collaboration. And because the SDKs are not available yet from Microsoft, so I had to do the coding for networking on my own. So that's one of the work I have been doing, and this is working fine. Now we can connect two different HoloLens or multiple HoloLens together on a shared vision, and also when we click buttons or we do some kind of activities that will reflect on the other HoloLens. And so it's almost like we are on the same place. So it's almost like an air traffic control metaverse, which we are moving toward. Yeah.
That's really cool. What has been your greatest learning in going through this process?
So so previously I have introduced some projects I have done as a hobbies or side projects, right? So one of the thing I have realized is the skills which I have learned for doing this, because air traffic control is one of the biggest like challenging operation. Like already, even without introducing mixed reality, it's already a very complex and advanced, and it's managing a lot of lives. And so introducing mixed reality is another layer of complexity and a lot of work. So there are a lot of learning to do in that area. So this actually made me learn a lot of new skill sets, and I realized that many of the skills in AR, VR, mixed reality can be applied to other industries as well. Like, for example, construction, for example, planning purposes, and medical industries, and even clothing, fashion, all that. So all in all, when we look back to our common theme, the immersive technology has a huge potential in many industries. So for example, the smartphones we are using, which started as a communication tool for aerospace, right, in the previous era, and later commercialized to everyone. Just like that, now the mixed reality is using by industrial use cases, very few use cases. But I believe this can be applied in almost all industries, and it can augment experience and solve many problems that we are having today, combining with different technologies like AI and other kind of depth sensing technologies and all that.
That's a great optimistic projection to leave this at for now, because we're going to move to Q&A. We want to open the floor to the audience. If you want to unmute yourself, you can. I encourage you to even turn on your video for a more connected experience, or you can type in your questions or comments in the chat for Mohammed.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, as people are just thinking of, do we have someone?
Yeah, sure. I've got a quick question. Thanks so much, Lee. That's a really engaging, riveting presentation. In terms of this direction of travel, where do you think the innovation should focus? Should it focus on improving the way the mixed reality and virtual reality is represented, or should it be on the haptic tools? Because I think we're constrained by, you know, the engagement channels, whether it's the glasses or the gloves or whatever. So it seems there's still a barrier to having that true immersive experience. So where do you think the innovation should focus on?
So I believe the innovation should be more focusing on the hardware side, because as I see it, most of the people, the hurdle is most of the people are not able to access the mixed reality, especially is because the cost of hardware, for example, HoloLens cost around $3,500. So the cost is pretty high for people, common people, to experience mixed reality right now. That's why AR is much more popular, because AR can be accessible through smartphones. So I think on a commercial side, if the corporate companies innovations, which they have billions of dollars on R&D, they should be focusing on how to bring down the cost of hardware goggles, which will definitely make more people into metaverse and all these kind of experiences. So I think that should be the innovation should more focus on. So on the other side, the software and all that kind of innovations are already happening, because we can do it from our computer, internet, and all that, right? So if most focus, like to balance it out, to more people to access this mixed reality technology, the hardware should be the main focus to bring the cost down. Yeah.
Thanks.
And what about connectivity? When I speak to some industry leaders, I hear about, you know, connectivity and the speed of internet being another limitation to how far we can really take this.
Yeah, that is also another, like, even we talk about metaverse, it's there are different layers, like around 6 layers that include connectivity is one of the most important part. One is hardware and the platform backend. So the interesting thing is each area on these layers are focused by different companies. For example, the backend, these engines are controlled by, not controlled, but more focused by companies like NVIDIA, or the platform, the game engines are focused by Unity, Unreal engines, and all that. Connectivity is something that very important, because we are moving towards building digital twins. So it is getting more complex in future. Like, for example, if we want to build a digital twin of a big building, which is having a lot of polygons and the design is much more complex, it need to be transferred. This holographic data should be transferred in real time, needs like minimum 5G or 6G or more than that. So connectivity is much more important, and the for the graphic rendering, because nowadays if you see all this metaverse happening in the clouds, these are having some kind of polygons or low graphics, that because it is mainly because to focus to make this connectivity smoother by reducing the graphics rendering. But if we can get a more advanced, like more faster internet and 5G 6G in areas, we can get more like almost human-like kind of graphics. It will make us more closer towards like a metaverse, almost like a real world.
And what about for mobile? Some of the applications you took us through included augmented reality and mobile. Are there limitations or more hardware and transformations to be done in that space?
Yeah, that's why one of our idea on twin reality, which we were focusing on, because these mobile phones or smartphones which have a limited amount of RAM, which is not enough at times the kind of data we are managing, right? So there is some kind of streaming services, just like Spotify or Netflix, is needed in future. So that connectivity is again will be the focus point for enable that kind of accessibility for more people. But otherwise, if we focus on smartphones, or even HoloLens, which has not much RAM. Like it is one of the most advanced device we have at the moment, because they have a portable holographic rendering possible. They don't have to connect to any laptop or any computer for external RAM is needed. HoloLens 2 has its own portable holographic rendering happening, and it has its own holographic processing unit. But in moving forward with more connectivity, when we are dealing with more advanced metaverse, this is not enough. We need much more. So either we need a higher amount of networking speed and connectivity, or else we need much more complex holographic devices to access this.
Okay, we have a question from Suraj, but Suraj, did you mean AI or did you mean AR, augmented reality? His question was around what are the stuff that are currently being developed in AI. I'm just conscious that, okay, we got a question from Laura. Are we ready to regulate all these disruptive technologies?
I would say not yet, but there are many incidents are happening in metaverse, and that should be regulated. One side is like how different. That's why we are moving towards a decentralized internet with more anonymous features. So the regulations are yet to happen, because these technologies are in a very early stage. So not all kinds of regulations are happening, but even the companies currently controlling, like mainly Meta and Microsoft, they are, by introducing new features and new accesses, they are introducing regulation on the go, but not happened yet, because this field is not saturated yet. The technologies are keep coming. Like, for example, the artificial intelligence is a huge thing right now, right? So these will also integrate with mixed reality. Things will go, like, we don't even know which is a avatar controlled by an AI or a real human being. It's very hard to find if we go to a metaverse. So these kind of regulations are yet to happen. It is not happened yet because the technology is not settled down yet. So that's the main thing.
But and Laura, you have a really good question, because there is a lot of discourse happening right now around the ethics in the metaverse, because we're seeing, the problems that we had with, the World Wide Web are now happening in places like the metaverse. A lot of that bias, the racism, the sexism, sexual harassment. There was someone that I know who joined Meta's Horizon World, and within 30 seconds was sexually assaulted in the metaverse. And there are conversations being had at a regulatory level, as well as on a human psychological level. Like, what does that actually mean? Does it really happen? Did that really happen to you if it happened in the metaverse? And how can we regulate that, and how can we police that, and who steps in to do it? Because as we've seen, a lot of companies haven't done too well with the World Wide Web. Brian, we have a comment from Brian, question. As a developer myself, I really enjoy developing XR apps, but when do you think MR with headsets will be more common? Second question, how many years do you think we need before it becomes the next smartphone? Third question, will it become the next smartphone?
Yeah, sure. So, glad to meet an XR developer, and the MR with headsets will be more. Yeah, it is getting, I would say it's getting cheaper at the moment, because initially we had HoloLens first version, and this recent Oculus Pro is kind of a mixed reality device with a pass-through, and it is getting down to 2,500. And I also realized that some devices like Pico, they're also getting the cost down. So there is it's almost like the same theme as smartphones, right? So initially we had smartphones that cost way more than $1,000, and now we are even able to get smartphones for $200, $100, that kind of cost, like different Android devices. And so this will also happen same in the mixed reality area. So there is, I would say it will not take more than 5 years. Things will be more accessible for more people in the kind of acceleration happening, and different companies are getting, because there is a joint healthy race is happening by different companies are stepping in and introducing different kinds of technology and doing the R&D. So this is a good thing in a way for users, because the cost will come down, more research and development will happen. So definitely, I feel quite optimistic by seeing the development happen past 2 years and the way it is moving towards, because a lot of new developers are coming in mixed reality. And also the hardware is more focused on economical as well, not just focusing on the technology itself, but how to make it accessible for more people.
We want to thank you all so much for coming. Thank you to Mohammed. Thank you to the audience.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, everyone. Hope you have a great rest of your day.